So why do I do what I do? On April 16th of 2012, I found out I was pregnant. I was pregnant with a sweet little boy who was going to be a little brother who was going to be my youngest child, who was going to have an amazing big brother, and who was going to be born into a family that right from the get-go would love him. On July 19th, 2012, I started bleeding. I was put on bed rest. And during that time, I begged God not to take my child. I cried. I pleaded. I said I would do whatever it took. I just wanted my baby to live. July 26, 2012, I had an ultrasound. It was just a routine ultrasound. My 20 weeks, I was actually 20 weeks and 5 days. My husband came with me. My son came with me. They both wanted to know how the baby was. Robert wanted to know if he was going to have a brother or a sister. I wanted to know if I was having another son or a daughter. And my husband didn't want to know a damn thing. He just wanted to be surprised on the day that our child came into the world. So on that day, I didn't notice the one thing that I should have. And it was at the start of my ultrasound. My baby wasn't moving. I didn't notice on the ultrasound that there was no heartbeat. All I saw was a little baby on that screen. The tech left the room and went to find someone else. And when that tech came back with another doctor, that doctor said, "When was the last time you felt your baby move?" I told him I felt my baby move last week. Last Friday, when I heard my baby's heartbeat for the last, well, I then know was for the last time. The tech went, huh. And in front of my 12-year-old son, while my husband was outside the room because we were going to ask what sex the baby was, they told me my child was dead. Those were the exact words. I'm sorry, your child is dead. I screamed. My eldest son ran to get his stepdad, and then he jumped into my arms. My husband stood there, emotionless. I don't think he was able to process what had happened.
Thanks so much for your time.
I started throwing up because I was crying so hard.
Not a problem.
My sweet, sweet 12-year-old son was in my arms the whole time.
The treatment itself probably took 15 minutes.
They gave me the choice of going home until labor started naturally. That's if it did. Or be admitted right away and be induced. I chose to be admitted. I was taken to a room eventually. Blood work was done. Medications were given. Labor was induced. I was asked, "Are you on drugs?" I was asked, "Do you live a dangerous lifestyle? Is your husband abusive?" All of these questions were asked in regards to how my baby had died. I had no answers for them. I didn't take drugs. I wasn't a drinker. Wasn't a smoker. But I too wanted answers as to why my baby had died. I was asked if my husband was violent. Did he hurt me? Did he beat me? I said no. My husband's the kindest, most gentle soul. And that was when the waiting began. My husband sadly was forced to go to work. They won't let him have time off right away. And I desperately wanted him home with me. So I was left alone in that room by myself. I got hold of my best friend, Anne, who I had asked to be my son's godmother. We didn't know he was a little boy at the time, but, well, Anne did. Anne knew. I didn't know. And we waited. More medications were given, more blood was drawn. And time just seemed to slow. My husband eventually was able to come back from work and be with me. But had been told by his job he had to go to work the next day. and give him time off. Because it was just a pregnancy loss in their mind. To them, it wasn't a baby. It was just a pregnancy loss. So the Friday, the 27th, there was a little tap at my bedroom door. And in walked my best friend. Seeing her face was the best face that you've ever given. Knowing she was there was the best feeling there was. We cried. We laughed. The nurses looked at us like we were crazy. But despite the tragedy that I was facing, it was a peaceful time with her. She went home, and I promised I would call her when the baby came. And at 1:34 a.m. on July 28th, a tiny little boy came into the world, silently and quietly. The only crying in that room came from me.
Do you remember a parishioner named Julia Bennett?
The only screams came from me. My son, Matthew Aaron Jones, came into that world at 1:34 a.m., weighing 3 ounces, 6.5 inches long. The hospital had nothing small enough for him to wear. I was told, I'm sorry, we don't have anything small enough for him. So we've put him in a shoebox. My son was presented to me in a Nike shoebox. I was told, I'm sorry, he is cold. We had to put him in a refrigerator. A beautiful, beautiful chaplain came and said a few words over him. If I had known then what I know now, I would have taken so many more photos. I have 4. On July 28th at 9:30 a.m., I said goodbye to my son and walked out of a hospital with paperwork and a brown envelope with his photos in to prove that he existed. So when you ask why I do what I do, it's because of him. There was a 6-month wait list for getting in to see someone about my loss. There was all the websites that were on the paperwork had shut down. They no longer were in service.
Maybe she'll buy something and you can start looking at her.
So we started Maddie's Memory to help families who were in the position we were in. And that is how we became.